I think it's really important to note that this podcast is made by filmmakers. So we're trying to bring you in the moment here with us. We're trying to paint a picture without being able to use a video. And for us, that's super challenging. And so both Matt and Henry work really hard to create a listening environment that paints a picture. And I think that is something that you should know before you listen, that you're going to be in different rooms, in different spaces. You are going on a journey with us, and so strap yourself in. To be called selfish, to be considered self-centered, like it actually cannot be named that. Like I don't want to be associated with the word selfish in any context. Girl, selfish is not a bad word. It is about self-respect. It is about what we want. It is about self-care. It is about self-love, self-fulfillment. Welcome to the Self-ish Latina podcast, where we get to be self-ish together. Okay, are we ready? You're so awesome. All right, so here we go.
So some people consider Manhattan New York City. Some people consider all 5 boroughs New York City. I live in what's called the outer boroughs because it's not Manhattan proper. So I'm a Brooklyn girl all day, every day, which y'all already know.
All day, every day.
Every
you
day.
say it with the Z. All day, every day.
And it's like my pleasure to like make sure that we made sure that you could eat everything tonight.
Thank you.
And like receive it, because it's like it was important. And we were literally like, okay, looking through all these recipes, and we're like, no, but Brenda, okay, but we're gonna do steak because I really want to do steak because I feel like steak is a celebratory like fancy thing, you know. And then also we wanted to make sure that there was something else that Brenda could eat too.
Thank you.
Okay, and so yeah, and then this is the list.
We now have to be able to step into our own greatnesses. The reasons why our families came here, we get to live that out. If we can only deal with that trauma and break those cycles that no longer serve us.
Cheers. Cheers to that. Cheers. Thank you. Cheers.
So last night I kept thinking about like I wanted to write all of you love letters. And it really started because of Melody, right? So I was thinking about you and I was like, these are the things I want to tell Melody. I need like the answers just to hold me up. Hija, let me tell you all the things your mother couldn't. Hija, did you know that you are loved?
And so the retreat was really the natural evolution of that conversation. It's when 5 people that have been talking about this for years get together physically and get to talk about it in person. It's incredible what happened, and this that you're listening to is just the tiniest little bit of what it was like to be there.
Oh my gosh, are you ready? Because I haven't shared it with anybody. Okay. So you're the first. I was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
All around the world.
Yeah.
This is the return.
I did okay. I have a really loud personality, so I'm not uncommon with being the center of attention. I'm excited. I feel like I took a risk in coming because when initially it was just supposed to be like a get together. Like let's just, let's celebrate you. Let's give you a chance to relax after your crazy Hispanic Heritage Month and all the running around that you're doing. And then it became like all of this, and I was like, wait a minute, like now it's getting bigger. And like 2 weeks ago, I was like, you know what, I'm not going. I'm just gonna call, and it'll be okay. Like, it's not a big deal. I'm just not going to go. I just didn't feel like I was gonna serve a purpose, and I just felt like, why am I going somewhere, to really be with people that I don't really know? Like, I could have used this money to like take my daughter somewhere and go on like some fun vacation or whatever. But then I felt like, well, I can't get a refund. So I might as well go. I spent all this money. I didn't have the courage to call Denise and say, hey, can I have my money back? Because I don't want to go. So that was really what made me actually show up.
We all secretly had a moment talking to Denise because I pulled her and I said,
Everybody has told me this.
I said, I called my brother and I called my father and I said, why did she invite me?
Mm-hmm. Which is why I wanted to cancel.
Yeah, I had so much anxiety this morning coming. I got to the point where I'm like, I'm not gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
But then I said, no, that's just all that old stuff, because I'm very shy around women, even though I can seem very loud. You know, so I was saying the same thing. I said to my brother, he's like, well, she must have something. Because she likes you. And you know how you are.
That whole thing, that self-talk, like, am I worthy? You know, should I be there? Should I be doing something else? Like, what am I gonna bring to the table?
This is what people go through when they decide to give something to themselves. This is what Latina women go through when they decide to give to themselves completely. You know, so first it was like, I don't deserve this. I don't want to cancel. I want to get a refund. And then it's like, yeah, I'm doing this and I don't even know these women very well, but I already bared my soul. And like, you know, having that realization that these things are good. And when you take a minute for yourself in life and you put yourself around other amazing people, it's going to nurture you.
Yeah. I mean, similar to them, right? I don't really know what to expect. I'm really excited for the weekend and just their incredible stories and just what we're here to really accomplish. But, you know, I guess we'll just jump right in. I was born in Florida, and I'm Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican.
I'm Cuban and Puerto Rican. And so we moved to California when I was 4. And so I was raised around Mexicans, and I felt out of place. My Spanish was different, my hair was different, I mean, my skin color was different, my culture, the food I ate, the music I listened to, like everything was different. So even though we spoke the same language, you know, there was a different dialect. You know, my dad never talked about Cuba, so I just was kind of like, where do I fit? And so in meeting more Puerto Ricans and Cubans and just more Latinos and Caribbeans these last 3 years, and, you know, it's just been amazing because I've been so hungry to learn more about my culture and why I am the way I am, and a lot of questions have been answered.
So for an intro with Mel, this is just interesting because if someone's like a diehard follower, they're going to know my Stanford story. They're going to know my imposter syndrome story, right? And they'll appreciate that Mel worked at the Stanford program, and that's how I know her. As a participant, I could just tell she was running the show. So we needed someone with Mel's skill set and called her, and she was available to fly into town and help us with the retreat.
I was mentioning this behind the scenes, and a lot of the times, you know, with Latina women, you just go in and you don't know if there's going to be other barriers there, right? Like their walls are going to be up. So we're going to be a bunch of Latinas, right, up in nature. And so, you know, it's really comforting and good to know that all our barriers are down, and we just met each other, but yet because of our backgrounds we share so much.
There's also this notion of, you know, you gotta tough it out, and, you know, you gotta be strong, and you don't have the luxury of dealing with the breakdown when you're trying to survive.
Never had time for therapy, never had the money for therapy, right? Because both my parents were always working, and then they were working to make money. So it was like, I'm sure that they thought that there was some use to therapy, but I don't think mental health was as sexy as it is now, if that makes sense. So like mental health, there's like this whole trend around mental health and making sure that self-care, and when I was growing up, that wasn't really something people talked about. Like, you don't talk about your problems.
And culturally also, there's this whole thing about, oh, we don't share that in public. You know, we don't air out our dirty laundry. You know, this stays here in the house. This doesn't leave this house. In some ways, you do get trapped because the silence traps you. The silence keeps you in shame, and it keeps you unable to really get the help that you need in order to really move forward and flourish versus just kind of surviving.
I believe we're guarded because that's what we're taught. Growing up, my mom would always be like, in Spanish, esto se queda aquí, which means this stays here. Like if we'd get to church and we'd be talking about something, we'd be fighting or whatever, she'd be like, okay, ya llegamos, that means we're here. It's like, todo eso se queda en el carro, so that all stays in the car now. Like, and so I think it just maybe protects us from judgment, from people thinking that we have problems, people thinking or knowing that for the longest time, just everything had to be perfect.
So we're taught at a very young age that our struggles are not as big or important as like the family struggles. Then you're going to hear, you're crying, like I'm going to give you something to cry about. Wait until you hear what we've sacrificed for you. Wait until you hear what this person has had to deal with to give you that food that you don't like, or give you the room that you think is too small, or give you the clothes that you think that you don't appreciate. So the impact over time is this feeling that my feelings don't matter. And it's not like people are like, you know what, I grew up with the sense that my feelings didn't matter, and that's what I'm struggling with right now. Like, people don't have an awareness of that. They just believe like it's true. Your feelings don't matter. What matters is the family and their struggle. That's what matters.
I just think we're tapping into some really raw obstacles that we're kind of helping each other get over. Just, like the stigmas behind some of the issues, because for Janelli, it's HIV, and for me, I think it's like depression. We're dealing with all of these stigmatized issues that so often, because we don't talk about it, and that's another cycle that we're breaking, because we don't talk about it, we stay stuck.
I'd be lying to you if I didn't think about what people thought about me after I shared, like, that my life is not perfect, or that I actually struggle with depression and anxiety and panic attacks. And because, to you, to the world, everyone just sees a smile and like a lot of joy, which is ironic.
And we don't get to realize our full potential, and we don't get to live our best lives because there's no one who's talking about it. Or if we do, it's kind of like, okay, but we're not going to talk about this, out there. It's just between us. So I think that we're onto something. Like, we're breaking barriers. We're, crushing those obstacles, and we're saying, look, guys, we're here, and we're going to talk about it, and we're willing to heal. And I dare say even break some really damaging cycles that we've sort of been caught up in generationally.
When we focus on getting unstuck, we can free other generations, and I truly believe that. I believe in breaking generational curses, and so if I can end it with me, I don't pass it on to my kids. And so it's selfish if I don't deal with it.
We can stay stuck if we want to and not do the work, but we can do the work and then free future generations from whatever perceived obstacles or ideas they have that just may be misconceptions even about, who they are, how they got here, their value here. So I first heard about it through Facebook, social media. Turns out that it was like a film, and I was like, oh, I definitely want to see that. Like, I'm all about supporting all of these projects when it comes to dealing with our culture. So I went to a free screening that was being held at Hunter College.
How to explain the Eñye experience, and I think sharing my own story is probably the best place to start.
I was born in Manhattan in Beth Israel Hospital and brought back to our apartment in Rosedale Gardens in the Bronx. My father was also born in New York City. His parents were from Cuba and Puerto Rico, which made him an Eñye too. So it's our job in the project to set the stage. And the film is a great example of setting the stage. And if you haven't seen it, check out the show notes. We'll put a link in the show notes to see the film. Something clicks for people when they see it.
I went with my best friend, and we were just like overwhelmed by how much we identified with what was going on in the screen, and just feeling like, wow, we felt seen, we felt validated, we felt like we are not alone. This is not an island that we're on. And I just felt like I wanted to shout it from the rooftops. Like, y'all, there's a place for us. There's a name for us. Like, we don't have to be in hiding anymore. And I felt like it was going to be my mission to help this woman get this project out.
Brenda looked like she could have been a childhood friend of mine from the Bronx. I just loved how excited she was to meet me, but it's because of something substantive. It's not because of something shallow. It's different than celebrities because celebrity is just about celebrity, and it's about like looking good, and it's about nothing important. And what this is about, what this work is about, what I get to be about, is about changing lives and changing the community and transforming a conversation. And the fact that someone would be excited to be around me, it means that they're excited to be around this work. It means that they care. And of course, that was the case with her.
For me, it was like, well, Denise had the courage to go out there and talk about something that she was really struggling with. So why can't I have the courage to talk about something that I'm also struggling with? And so I think I've done a lot of work around just being more open and not feeling ashamed for feeling the way that I do. Not to say that it's like over, that it's easy, like, oh, I'm done, I'm good. Absolutely not. But there's a model out there. You know, and it's also someone who represents my experience. So it's, you know, I'm not alone on this journey. There is no judgment. There is no shame. There's support and empowerment. And so that's what this weekend is about for me. And just the camaraderie of just, you know, strong women being together, uplifting and holding each other up. To me is just, I feel like, medicine that we need. So we need to be refueled. Right? So we're out there fighting our battles, whatever they may be. And we're out there, you know, finding ourselves, figuring out who we are, who we want to be. And it can be exhausting. And if you have children and you're trying to break those cycles and you're trying to empower them and, you know, you're at work and so you need a place that you can come to where you can, you know, recharge. And for me, that's what this feels like. Like, I need to recharge. I need a source or a fountain of support, of love, of nurturing. And so that's what it is for me. And it's really strange, right? Because like Janelle said, we're just meeting each other for the first time, but it doesn't feel that way. You know, I've bared my soul already, and I haven't even been here like 12 hours. So yeah, I think it's important. We're packing up to come. One of the things that Denise had told us was, I want you to be ready to receive. And I didn't know what that was going to look like. And I was really uncomfortable with it, but I said, I'm going to do my best to do that. I'm always thinking about how am I going to give. So, you know, that's what I really was trying to pay attention to. So I decided to just write a little something for all the people who were involved in the project and like kind of like the roles that they played.
Cheers. Cheers to that.
Cheers. Thank you. Thanks for leading the way for our story.
Thank you for having the courage.
That's what I was. Damn, Brenda, you took it right out of my mouth.
So I couldn't sleep last night because I was so overwhelmed and anxious, and there was just so much going on, and I couldn't process it, and I just couldn't sleep. And I freaking had melatonin, which is what I'm going to do tonight. So after this, I'm out, y'all. I'll pop a pill. I have one. I'm going to pop a pill. And I'm going to bed because I'm on like 3 hours, right? So like to be on 3 hours and to have gone through all of this emotional excavating that we've done, it's just been...
I like that. Your vocab is on fire.
I'm like, should I write that one down too? Hashtag Brenda.
Emotional excavation.
So I'm emotionally drained. You know, I don't have the capacity to give right now anymore. But I couldn't sleep last night, and oftentimes I'm haunted by words. Like, I'm not a writer in any shape or form, right?
You still are a writer.
But I'm haunted, right? So sometimes little snippets of stories will come to me, like when I can't sleep. I'll get up at 3 a.m, and it's like some kid talking to me. It's like, so I got to go write down those lines, and then I put them away. So last night I kept thinking about, like, I wanted to write all of you love letters. And I kept thinking about, so this is what I'm going to share with this person, this is what I'm going to share with this person. And I plan to do that at some point, but I did like a collective love letter, and it really started because of Melody, right? So I was thinking about you, and I was like, these are the things I want to tell Melody. This is for Melody and for all of us. I haven't titled it yet. Oh my gosh. I need like the answers just to hold me up. Hija, let me tell you all the things your mother couldn't. Hija, did you know that you are loved? That you matter? Have I asked you for forgiveness? I'm sorry for not being the mother that you needed me to be, but this does not mean that I love you any less. Yeah, your light is so bright. Forgive me for every time I diminished it. I just don't know any other way. Please know that this is not you that I diminish, but myself. Have I told you that I want you to shine, even if it hurts? Yeah, sometimes I get confused because I'm supposed to teach you, but you have been my greatest teacher. And sometimes this is hard. This is very hard. No one taught me, but I tried. And sometimes my try wasn't good enough. Can you forgive me? Yeah, you're the most important thing to me. My most prized possession, the most precious gift. It's not that I don't love you, it's that I don't know how. And sometimes I had to love you in a way that you wouldn't recognize. Please know that, good or bad, imperfect as I am, I do love you. Know that you are enough as you are. And then, from my point of view, from me, I just feel like you were brought to us so that we could help you, so that we could help you heal. And we would never abandon you, right? Because we don't leave.
We don't leave our people.
Right? But you must do the work. It is easy to hide. It is easy to make excuses. The challenge is in being great. So that was for all of us.
And it was received.
So I'm gonna type that out, and I'm just gonna share it with everybody.
That needs to just be published.
I know.
Because the girls and the mothers that you will heal.
Yeah.
So understand.
Thank you. Thank you, Brenda.
I know, Brenda.
But that was like a gift for all of you, because at some point or another, everyone has shared something about either their mom or their experience as a mom. And feelings of inadequacies have come up, and all these things that you have yet to realize, but you're stepping into now that you're stepping into motherhood. But she's not there yet, right? And so I feel like we have to carry her. It's universal. I have failed my daughter so many times. I have failed her. I have not been the mother she needed. This is not exclusive to you. And part of my sharing is to help you heal, right? That you're not alone. That, our moms do the best that they can. And we have a right to get mad and throw a tantrum. Like fuck, like why, like what the fuck? But you also have an opportunity to heal from that.
Yeah.
So that was just a little gift. And then I started thinking about like everybody, like on a personal level. And I was like, all right, Denise is our guide. And you have been our guide, right? And I think part of what you want to do is guide a bunch of people, right? It has to expand. Teresa is our quiet warrior.
I get that.
Yeah.
I received that. Thank you.
And you are leaving nobody behind.
I don't leave anybody behind.
Janelli is our voice, our awareness.
Yes.
You are our
So
collective
much
voice.
so. Yeah, I have told Denise on so many occasions, like Janelli says what I think. It's just that Janelli says it and I process it too long. I process it too long because I'm too busy paying attention to everything else. Yeah.
Eloisa is our potential, because you are showing us that we don't have to live in a box.
Oh, I know.
We have the potential
Yeah.
to be free. To be free. I see you, boo. I think she thinks that we don't see you, but we see you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Cindy, you are a representation of our survival, because we will not be diminished. And that is what you are our joy.
Yes.
Lupe, you are our encourager, our validator.
Yes.
Melody, you are our future, and you will be our song.
There was so much in common with Brenda, and it was like floodgates opened, and all these memories and traumas started coming, and I was just in silence, just kind of holding it in, because I was like, oh my God, I haven't dealt with this. And because as she was talking, I was like, oh my God, that's my mom. Oh my God, that's me. Oh my God, that's my mom. Oh my God, that's me. Oh my God, that's... And not wanting to talk about these problems and these secrets with my mother, and telling her how much it did affect me, and how much I do long for a relationship with her. So, I saw a little bit of my mom and Brenda, but then a little bit of me and her. So she's kind of like in between us. Yeah, just with her experience with her mother, and then just how she is with her daughter. And I kind of saw myself in her, like, I just saw me, like in, like, you know, in the future with a kid, and me not dealing with this, and how she's dealing with it now, and you know how she mentioned that she had wished she had worked on it sooner, and so for me it was kind of like a what's the word I'm looking for? It was a reality check.
Yesterday after dinner, we closed dinner by me sharing that with everybody. But I had left myself blank, because how narcissist would it be to name myself? So I was like, we'll leave me blank. But then everyone then gave me some words, and I received a whole lot of love.
I would have to say you're a perfect reflection. And that's what came to mind because of the stories and how we just instantly clicked. And for me, you are a perfect reflection of what I hope to be when I'm a mom. And I know you say you had many, haven't been perfect with your daughter, but for me, like, you've helped me understand my mom and me, and how you're kind of both of us in one. And so I just hope I can be as aware as you are as a mother now, and how you are fighting to make, like, that relationship so amazing with your daughter.
I'm gonna say that you are the challenger with grace.
That's a first.
But receive it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to say you are a flickering light. And the idea that I don't think you realize how much light you bring into a room and into a conversation.
Yes.
So just keep shining brighter.
That's really good. Hang on. You're the changer. You're the change agent. You are the shaman. Like the high priestess.
I don't know about that. Pero damn.
Yeah, because you have this oracleness about you.
You're the oracle. I love the oracle.
Oracle.
For me, I hope this my expression of this term doesn't offend you in any way, but I know that you'll receive it because of how you responded when I said it the first time. I feel like, you're my sister, Bruja. You speak my language. You speak my soul language, and we get each other with the look. I know what you're saying when you haven't gotten there yet, and I feel like you've received me in the same way. And at the same time, I feel like, who the Brujas are to me is like, they're the keeper of the culture. They are our historical sages, They're the people with the solutions. they're with the supernatural solutions when nothing else has worked. You call on the brujas. You know? Yeah. When she said you're the high priestess, I'm like, you're the supreme. You're the supreme, because you can
way too much.
You can, but it's not. Receive how you have impacted us. You know, and I see even though we're very, you know, close in age, I see you as a guide for me, because we have the same passion, but we voice it in different ways. But we're saying the exact same thing, you know, and we're too, you know, we're the same person, but from different places, you know, and we're doing the same work in the same way, but we're just expressing it differently.
And each is just as valuable and as powerful.
Yeah.
I don't have to diminish you in any way or take away from you.
Yeah.
All right, one last one.
Immediately knew you were Puerto Rican. And you're the Boricua that I wanted to meet. You're la preciosa de Puerto Rico. Preciosa.
Preciosa.
You know what I'm saying?
I love that song because it
Everybody
talks
wave
about
the
the
flag
island.
for her. Wave the flag
It
for
talks
her.
about the island with so much pride and love. And you live there, and you walk through that island, and your mother, and everything, and all the traditions that I hope you can share with me.
Thank you.
You're the keeper of the history for her.
Oh
my goodness.
Y'all.
And let me get that pastela recipe.
If you come to New York, you just might get your own dozen. And then we got here, and it was just so much deeper than that. It was so profound. It makes you feel really seen in a way that sometimes your own family doesn't see you. So it was just a beautiful weekend of giving and receiving. And it was done with like no real pressure. It just happened really organically, and everything really worked out beautifully. But that was the other thing that I learned, that initially I thought what I had to offer wasn't tangible. It wasn't like touchable. And then the weekend happened, and particularly when Janelli said, you know, it is because of you that I have healed and grown in some way. And I was like, damn, it is tangible. If you need a safe space, if you need some healing, if there are things you want to talk about that you're afraid to talk about with other people, and you have an opportunity to do something like this, to be loved, to be recognized, to be honored, then jump in. Don't listen to the little voice that tells you all the lies that you should not believe. Just jump in. We're here. We're waiting for you. And what I really wanted to say was thanks to Denise, right? Because this was my idea initially, and it was not supposed to look like this, right? I was like, oh, let's just get together for a weekend. Like, it'll be really great. Hee hee hee. And then it turned into all of this. But thank you for creating this fan-fucking-tastic opportunity for all of us to just fucking love each other.
Oh, you're welcome.
Really, thank you.
Thanks for trusting me to do it.
These conversations aren't happening, like no one's broadcasting these conversations. It's so hard to talk about the mother-daughter relationship without feeling terrible, especially when you're a mom yourself. How can I talk about that pain without wondering, am I causing it? And then conversely, how can I not talk about it when I know there's pain and I know there's struggle, and I also know there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that the awareness sets you free, that the realizing you're not alone sets you free, and that you get a chance to reinvent. That's like the ultimate in freedom, that you're in control. And you get a chance to do it with other people and develop new relationships that are based on something super positive. So like versus just affirming pain, it's affirming reinvention and affirming transformation and affirming a version of you that's happy with what you've got because you created it. And that's what keeps me going, is being able to capture these conversations and share them with the world and inspire more conversations, because the promise is healing for everybody. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Self-ish Latina podcast. If you are loving these episodes, don't be shy. Slide into my DM and let me know what you think. And for extra special, awesome credit, we love you forever if you left a review for us on iTunes. Also, if you're curious and you want more information about our next retreat in August of 2019 in the Rocky Mountains, there is a link in the show notes. You can add yourself to the wait list and we will send you more information on the retreat. And finally, this episode is brought to you by the Eñye Dream Accelerator. If you would like an application for our next cohort, which starts in just a few weeks, please DM me on IG and I will send it to you personally. Thank you for listening to the Self-ish Latina podcast, where we get to be self-ish together.